10:41 is the time right now. I'm here this morning with some unconventional wisdom. Now, yesterday we aired part one of my interview that aired last week with actor, comedian, and D L Hughley, author D L Hughley. And this morning, here's part two of our conversation. I follow you on social media, and every time you say anything about race or anything that's even close to race, you get, I mean, people come out of the woodworks and they immediately start attacking you. So I'm sure you're getting some of these same attacks with this book. Does any of that bother you? Or are you used to it at this point?
No. Why would I care what people think of me? I like a cheer and a boo pretty much feel the same way to me. People's idea of me is none of my concern. I think my gig is to say it, call it like I see it. And of course, people are not going to like it. I mean, but that's the gig. What are they going to do? Say something mean to me on Twitter? I could give a damn about what people think. But I think that I'm not guided by that, and I'm not guided by the idea of trying to, disrupt people. I'm just called like to me, this whole Kanye thing, I really think running for president, I think him and Donald Trump are really the same person. I think they're exactly the same kind of people. I think they're both not narcissistic. Neither of them read. If this is even a serious conversation, America right now is in trouble right now because it chose a white supremacist above all. And now when you needed other skills, no one knew that a pandemic would be coming. Nobody knew the end of the world would be coming. I mean, economically would be coming. Nobody knew that there would be the streets on fire with protests. But you had to account for that. And America's they felt that their best opportunity was a dude who just espoused hate. And now we see where we are. So I think that a lot of things we do, we kind of deserve.
And then we're still having these conversations with our family, our children, our relatives about how to deal when you're black in America. Do you think we would be having this conversation at this point?
Even William Barr yesterday said that there was, bias in the way that that communities of color are policed, and there needs to be something that even William Barr with his crooked. I think so. I think that it is something that is so obvious, but I also think that there were a lot of things at play. I think that the fact that we had a pandemic where the whole world was shut down, there was so much fewer, and the world was a lot quieter now. It was easier to hear a lot. And I think one of the things that came out of that was that America was under quarantine and home for so long that when they came out, Black lives started to matter. So I think it was hard to turn away and to deny the things that they've seen. And I think that one of the biggest problems we've always had is getting people to at least see these things, to take a look at them, because they've always been adverse to seeing things that make them feel uncomfortable. This time they were forced to. And if you see something, you got to say something. And I think that's what's going on right now. And obviously I'm very heartened by it.
What do you hope people take away from reading your book once they get through the end of it and they're like, wow, either wow or whatever? What do you hope they take away from it?
Well, at the end of it, there's a peace treaty they can sign, and we're going to ratify it at the Magic Johnson Theater. What I hope is that they laugh and they learn, and I hope that they're entertained. I hope that I'm worth the $25 that they spend. I mean, but ultimately, I hope they see things that there are so many things that we as a country have chosen to ignore, and those things. The problem now in America is that our history and Google can't coincide. And so what I hope is that they'll see some things and laugh at some things and learn some things. Like, I'm not one of those people who say, if I just change one life, I hope to change people's, the frequency that they're set to, and to make things possible that aren't. And one of those things is, I know Terry Crews is worried about black supremacists and us being seen becoming the supreme being, but it would be nice before we get to that America starts seeing us as human beings. And I think if the book does a modicum of that, I'll be happy.
All right. Just a reminder, you can listen to the Unconventional Wisdom podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Audio Boom, or go to the Fox 5 website and click on the podcast tab.